Welcome to episode 5 of the Quarter Life Crisis, and everybody is welcome here. I want that to be abundantly clear, but especially people that watched the Bad Bunny halftime show. I can't lie, I've been feeling the hopium hit all day long. It has been a good Monday after the Super Bowl Sunday. I absolutely adored Bad Bunny's performance. And that was the best part of the game. Pretty boring outside of that. Go Seahawks. I can't imagine that I used to say that or that I would ever say that as a kid growing up a St. Louis Rams fan. But let's jump right into this episode. I don't know the title yet. So really I just intend on reviewing one of my largest weeks of training that I've ever accomplished, including the longest run of my life, and 5 days in the gym. So I got my 10 out of 10 workouts last week. I'm very proud of myself for that. I want to talk about how I'm still putting on some weight despite increasing mileage, and also how good it feels to feel good, which sounds so obvious, but I'm excited to talk more about that and just how depression, they say depression can't hit a moving target. I would argue that it struggles to hit a moving target. So I'm looking forward to talking about my mental health and what is to come, because even though I had my biggest week so far, it's not even the biggest week of this training block. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Monday through Wednesday, and then Friday and Saturday for me in the gym last week. I skipped Thursday morning because I had a migraine. I didn't even go to work on time. I went to work late that day. So I really have to show myself some grace in these moments. It's really challenging when you don't do something that you set out to do, that you told yourself that you would do. There's a bad feeling physically and mentally for me. It's actually, the sensation psychologically is known as cognitive dissonance. I don't mean to sound so smart. And it's a hard feeling. It's really difficult. And it feels like guilt, even worse than guilt for me. And so I'm really glad that instead of ruminating on that all day on Thursday, I still got to my run on that day, and I made up my workout in the gym on Saturday. And here's a piece of advice, something that I've learned over my time in training in the gym. If you miss a scheduled workout, you can make it up. It is not the end of the world. It is a challenge. You may have to move some things around. You can make it up. It is not the end of the world if you miss one workout. And I know that that can be really daunting for people. Like, oh, I made a mistake once, so some people have an all or nothing mindset, right? Where, oh, I made that mistake, it's not going to be, it's over with, it's over. And so I really implore you to find time outside of that training time, if you miss, to get in there. So I'm glad that I went, instead of on Thursday, on Saturday. And yeah, it was great. On that Thursday, I had a 1 mile easy run, 4 mile tempo run, and 1 mile easy run. So I'm feeling really good that I got in there after having a headache and still got my run done and got my back workout. It's just there's a lesson to be had in that. I'm not trying to brag or sound built different. I'm not at all. I've never been naturally elite at anything, or potentially elite at anything. It's always been just through consistency and dedication, commitment. Those three pillars that I'm really trying to focus on this year, and hard work. So that's all. Anyone is capable of any of those things. I'm not, you know, cut from a different cloth or anything like that. So I got all of my runs in last week as well. I took Monday. Well, Monday was supposed to be a rest day, but I was so excited to get back into training after snowpocalypse, as I'm calling it, that I just did a 2 mile easy run. So very, very easy on the body. Got into it for the rest of the week, and eventually it doesn't show on my Strava because I'm silly, and I'll explain this, but I ran a 40-mile week, which I'm very, very proud of. I wouldn't really have imagined ever doing that before starting this marathon training. I know college runners that don't do that, that didn't do that when they were in college, and they weren't the greatest. I know college runners that ran double that and were great as well, to be fair. So I'm really happy with that. It included a 14-mile run. Previously, the longest run I had was 13.2, which is, or maybe it was 13.5. I can't remember the exact decimal distance, but it was a half marathon at least. I did it in an hour and 53 minutes. So I was pretty happy about that. It was just a training run, just a long run, the longest that I had run to that date. I just wanted to see what I could run a half marathon in. And it started as an easier run. And eventually I was like, no, I got to get to 2 hours. And so I did. And now that was a 14-mile easy run. It took me, to be exact, 130 plus minutes. It took me 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 20 seconds of pounding the treadmill. And I did 14 miles on the treadmill. And really the hardest part about it was not getting very bored. Not getting bored. I'm fortunate because the treadmill provides you somewhere to set your phone. So I set up a fantastic movie. I had no idea what I was in for. There Will Be Blood is what I watched during my run, and fantastic movie. I unfortunately paused to use the restroom during my run at the 4 mile marker and paused my watch. I did not resume it until around the 5.5 mile mark. So I missed a mile and a half on my watch, and it didn't track on Strava. Kind of disappointed about that. However, there's a watch upgrade coming. It should actually arrive tomorrow. I feel proud for using my HSA like a grown adult that I am to acquire that. And so, what I found as a result of this 2 hour plus jaunt on the treadmill is it was really difficult on my joints, specifically. My knees have felt it the worst, specifically my left knee. And it genuinely feels like my kneecap is like sore to the touch still. I put some biofreeze on it, which has just helped it immensely. And the massage gun has helped a lot in that area, but the knee is really bugging me. I got to be honest. I feel it pretty much every step still. So, working on recovery, I think that I underdid myself for sleep as well after that run. Also, it was the day of the Super Bowl, so I had some alcoholic beverages, which, if you know anything about those, are they're pretty bad for recovery. And so that was the longest run of my life. Really challenging, to be quite honest, and really proud that I did that. I got an even longer one coming up this Sunday. It'll be 16 miles, which is daunting. Honestly, my honest response is, oof, I'm not really looking forward to that. That's going to be really hard, but it's going to happen. I'm not even going to look ahead too much because I don't want to know. I don't want to intimidate myself. It was a really hard run mentally getting through it, physically to get through it. If I had to recommend anything, it would be to be on top of your hydration prior to that run, the day leading up to it. To get me through the run, I used one caffeinated gel, one non-caffeinated gel, and I ate a waffle, a honey stinger waffle while running. I don't I've not seen people do that. It didn't feel great to do either. But at the easy pace, it was not too unrealistic and didn't suck that much, to be quite honest with you. So that was that last week in training. very challenging, very fulfilling, very demanding week that will pay off a lot. I believe that showing myself what I'm capable of in that sense has has me pretty fired up. It has me gassed, and I'm excited for what has to come, which is continuing, excuse me, to put on LBS. I'm going to talk about weight and eating, so I consider this a trigger warning if that bugs you. I am still actively trying to eat more and consistently get in meals, specifically breakfast. I found that consistently eating a few hundred calories minimum at breakfast has immensely helped my performance. It's helped my mental and cognitive state throughout the morning. I used to think that I could just get by in the morning with skipping breakfast or having like 1 to 200 calories. And it's just not, it's simply not enough. That is a tiny, and there is a light breakfast. There's merit to that. And I'm no dietitian, but for me, I need at a minimum around 500 to 800 calories through carbs, eggs, usually, and some kind of protein. And so for me, in the morning, what I'm really trying to lock down is chicken sausage, a protein shake, 3 to 4 eggs, and 2 pieces of bread. Add that all up, and it's somewhere in the range of 5 to 800 calories, depending on, excuse me, if I have fruit in the morning, like such as an apple, which I love to do, a banana, which I'm recently been eating a lot more of. So that has been immensely helpful for me in the gym as well as recovery. It's frankly been necessary. That has been a necessary meal for me. So I'm loving that. I'm also working on preparing my lunches at the night before. That is a very helpful way for me to make sure that I eat enough at my lunch as well. So I'm applying progressive overload in the gym because I am eating enough to do that. And I'll give you an example today. Instead of starting at 185 on bench press, I started at 205, and it was very heavy, very heavy today. But we got it done for, let's see, that's 12 reps of 205 today. I did 3 sets of 5, 4, and 3. And last week I did 8 reps of 205. So I'm challenging my body with a difficult stimulus more. And I feel good about it. I feel good about the output and the effort. I did talk about potentially switching from pec deck to cable flies. I made that switch today and it felt great. I think I am going to continue doing that depending. And it's good to have the seated pec deck just there waiting for me. If any one of my shoulders ever feels weak after bench press or a bad stretch on cable flies, there's a pec deck just waiting for me. So I think I'm gonna stick with cable flies for now. Today I went from high, medium to low, and really love that. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm really hoping, or I'm not. I'm going to work on getting 32 and a half pounds on all levels of that. So that's just an example of how I'm applying progressive overload in the gym and still continuing to gain weight while running also the most miles in a week in my life. I would genuinely didn't think it was possible. It is. It is. Let myself be evidence. And so that's all I really have to say about training. I appreciate you listening, and I hope that you can take some advice. As always, I will feel free to comment on anything about any questions or any tips you might have. I want to be a vessel of information and just share with people what I've learned through my experience in the gym. So I just want to reiterate that and get into more of the, I guess, mental part of this episode that I want to talk more about, and my my reflection and vulnerability, you could say, and my practice in doing that. And it doesn't feel very vulnerable to say it feels good to feel good, but It I, I hesitate to, you know, give myself props. I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but thanks to my time well spent, I feel good. And I don't want to say better than I have ever. I don't want to say the best I have in my life, but I feel pretty great. I feel capable of a lot. I feel capable of more than I have before. And I feel excited for the challenge and the prospect of getting better and finding out what I'm capable of and pushing myself to be the best version of myself. And so as a result of the body of work that I have provided for myself to reflect on, it feels good. And I wish that for other people as well. And I heard a phrase that says depression can't hit a moving target. And I don't buy that because you have to eventually you stop moving. You can't be moving all the time. Whether it's sitting still in a moment of reflection or eating a meal, however you get stillness, even as much as you avoid it, eventually you have to face those thoughts. And so I won't say that it can't hit a moving target, but it does struggle to hit a moving target. I've experienced depression before. I've experienced anxiety, and when you are very focused on your goals and you have the proof and evidence that you are who you say you are, it builds confidence, it builds your self-esteem, and that's what this is doing for me right now. I have always been a fake it till you make it kind of person. And really, until last year, I had never experienced imposter syndrome. I had always had a pretty good idea and of who I am and my self-awareness until last year. I started to experience some imposter syndrome. And so now that I am very, very dialed in and for lack of a better word, thrown myself into the water with with this training, I feel good about it mentally. I feel very good. I feel very present in my interactions with people as a side effect, and it's it's good. So I encourage you to dive into your passions, whether it be physical fitness, whether it be creating art, whether it is making something. I encourage you to dive into that and focus on it, and it will keep you from ruminating on what makes you upset. It'll keep you from reflecting and ruminating on the past. It will keep you from getting nervous and scared about the unknown in the future. And as a result of being so focused with my diet and my sleep and my water, my mental health has gotten better. It's really annoying. What they say is true. What they say is true. You take care of yourself and then you start feeling better physically and mentally. It's a cliche and it's true for a reason. I haven't really just other than my one headache last week, I haven't really been sick this year, which is fantastic because I don't want to be sick. I want to be focused. I want to be able to be present in my training and be there and eat what I want and be where I want to be, do what I want to do, get to my goals every single day. And so it has that side effect. That's why I say it feels good to feel good. It starts with having a good workout, and then you're like, I want to carry up that momentum with a good meal afterward. Oh, Now I want to get enough sleep so that I feel good going into the next day, so that I get enough so that my training is as good as possible. Oh, during the day I'm going to drink as much water so that my body is hydrated enough to perform good when I train. And so that is the side effect that comes along for me with physical fitness. And I think that happens to a lot of people. I know I'm not alone in that. And so that's why I want to share. It has really helped me in a physical and mental way, being as focused on this as I have been this year. And so finally on that, I want to say that you never know who's watching what you do. I had an interaction in the gym after my long run that took me off guard, just because you might catch someone glancing at you in the gym when you're a gentleman. I can't speak for uh the ladies in the gym experience. So I'm speaking for myself here. Sometimes I catch people looking at me in the gym and I'm like, oh well, they were probably just looking at like if what I was doing, like, or not even me. They were just looking in my general direction, right? I don't even want to sound so vain as to think they are looking at me. But you never know who's watching, even subliminally, just waiting to see if you will succeed or if you will fail. And I'm not saying they have a stake in either side. They might not care. They might not know you at all. They might not care about you at all. They might not even be watching you, but they you don't know who is watching you. And they're watching to see if you succeed or fail in your pursuit. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to stay so dialed in and focused to hopefully be an example of what you can be is what I want, because I never imagined that I could run 14 miles on a treadmill. That even saying it out loud, still I feel like I didn't even do that. I'd never, if you told me, Ethan, you're gonna sit and do something that's not watching, you're gonna go run on a treadmill for 2 hours and 15 minutes straight. I would laugh in your face. That sounds like a waste of time, even after doing it. So that's all I have to say on this episode. What's coming up for me is a track workout that I have nervous excitement for. I tried to figure out how I could do this workout on the treadmill and I just couldn't. So I have to go to a public track and do it. And then that'll be good for me. It's good to get myself out of my comfort zone. That's what this whole training block is about anyways. It's about embracing that discomfort, embracing the growth, embracing the challenge. So I'm gonna get out to a public track tomorrow, and that'll be an experience worth reflecting about, I think. And it's a good thing I have an outlet to do that. I appreciate you being here. Again, I just want to say, well, really, I want to reiterate what Mr. Benito pointed out to everyone this weekend, which is that love is more powerful than hate. And I encourage you to go out and love people. So I'll leave you with that, and I will see you next time.